If you think back over the session, we started out with student involvement. Remember, the stage was split. They did work and rest. It was a really good challenge at the beginning of the year. We had Dr. Bosch and Dr. DeYoung talk to us about intelligent design. Remember the fish on stage? And they showed like the coolest video about wolves that I've ever seen. I told people that I was going to get a wolf tattoo on my chest after that day. That was like amazing, right? And we had the Global Chapel. We also had Ben Hyde. They both gave us some big challenges on how to consider people who are different than us and build bridges with them. Those are big challenges. And I want to let you know, we're going to keep trying to change it up a little bit. I want next session, as we look forward to that as well, just let you know we're going to keep changing it up as we think about Tuesdays. And today is a really, really big day for Tuesdays as well. Today is going to be our first Origins testimony, student testimony this morning. So that's going to be good. Okay, we're going to be focusing on story. Remember, I want to have a lot of you share your story this year in chapel. So this is our first opportunity this Tuesday to consider the idea of story, origin story. Before our speaker comes up, though, Isaiah Snell is going to help us consider story in another form, spoken word.
Heartbreak is like a salad. Nobody sane wants a salad. At least not one without bacon, and a lot of bacon. I'd probably be on good terms with my exes if I even got so much as a single succulent strip of pig fat with a crisp edge and a tender inside, with the perfect mix of crunch and chew and a savory, salty explosion of greasy flavor. I'm getting a little carried away. I once heard someone say that a heartbreak sounds like ghosts clapping. And I can't help but agree. If you cannot experience heartbreak, you do not deserve the applause of everyone who came before you. And now I'm imagining a bunch of wandering spirits and lost souls looking at old empty salad bowls like bad punchlines with a light chuckle and a see-through smile. Disdain the moment you take the first bite, and pain as you swallow, fighting your own right to happiness. The worst part is the first salad doesn't look any different on the scale. It's supposed to cleanse and bring your inner flourishing tree to life like rain, but it hits like hail. This whale of weight is added to the tops of your eyelids without taking any from your thighs, and the bags under your eyes take no weight from your sides. You can't see developed muscles in the mirror any clearer than bigger biceps appear. Salads don't look like a smile trying to draw near. Instead, you're slapped in the face with the added regret of having eaten the salad in the first place and nothing to show for it but an empty salad bowl. An empty salad bowl. Until another meal approaches. Someone encroaches on that territory, asking questions about the tiny unswallowed leaves and remnant French dressing, painting brushstrokes around the edges of that empty salad bowl. And you'll say, don't touch that. I'm not ready to clean it out yet, because that might mean it gets filled again. And filled again are never the words spoken by someone patting their stomach after a hearty meal of nothing but salad. Because heartbreak is like a salad. It's a ballad of dancing around tough words with metaphors, weaving a mix of hard croutons and sharp cheese. Everyone expects soft lettuce fleas, but it's more of a crunch. And it lands like heavy blows to the chest, trapped in a cage match with only a fork, and the salad is kicking your butt 9 nights out of 10. The biggest question you'll ask is, why? I could have gone for the mouth-watering ribs or the burger so juicy I'd have to put on a bib, a pepperoni pizza with mozzarella cheese that doesn't give me regret. And yet, you think back. Your feet barely shuffle across the floor with the energy you muster, creeping like the ghosts, almost gone, almost gone, almost gone. And there in the kitchen cabinet you've crept to lie all the lonely nights you've slept through, and it feels like all your strength has left you, but out falls an empty salad bowl. One from long ago. You've already scraped the bits of romaine from the edges like hedge clippers cutting leaves. There is no more lettuce, no ranch to taunt you. The memory doesn't haunt you when you bend your shoulders back to brazenly brag. Ha! My teeth were jagged enough to be the splitting edge that shred you salad. I stomached the flavorless pain of what I'm now considering a healthy gain, and I remember it hurt. And this one does too. Suddenly that nagging, noisy voice in your ear, wondering what remains of this one, turns to a calloused curiosity. Your story could save them a heart-wrenching meal and an empty salad bowl. And cleaning this one isn't fun, don't get me wrong. There's a scorching sun outside pulling vibrant green heads of lettuce from the dirt like the dead seeking revenge, and it is overwhelming to think about, but imagine just how great that story will be. Now, I don't hate my exes, despite never finding delicious pan-fried pig in place of their absence, because I've got enough empty salad bowls and a long enough story to save a few hearts. And don't be surprised if you see me eating a salad, because I might just be one of those people that's less than sane.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Jaris Hurtdao y quiero compartir con ustedes mi historia de origen. I was born in Peru, South America. If you haven't heard of Peru, maybe you have heard of Machu Picchu. That's a picture of Machu Picchu. It's one of the 7 wonders of the world, and it's located in Peru. If you have a chance to visit Peru, you have to go there. The view is amazing, and well, this is what we're known for. This is a map of South America, and the country in green would be Peru. This is a closer look of the country. There are about 32 million people. We speak Spanish, not Peruvian. The capital is Lima. It's a really big city. I don't know if you can see like a green cathedral towards the left where the Pacific Ocean is. So that's where Lima would be located at. Then that's the main city. But then there's Cusco, which is the most visited place in the country. And I don't know if you can see the Welcome to Peru sign. Below that sign, there's like green mountains towards the right. And well, that's Machu Picchu, and that's where Cusco would be located at, more or less. There are 3 main geographic areas: the coast, the mountains, and the jungle. The coast is the one to the left, next to the Pacific Ocean. It has a lot of beaches, and at the same time, it's a desertic zone. Then in the middle, there are the mountains. I don't know if you have heard of the Andes. It's a mountain chain, and it goes from the south of South America to the north, and it crosses Peru. And then the jungle, it's towards the right. There's a lot of vegetation. The weather, it has a tropical weather. It has a lot of animals, so it's pretty fun. Because of these 3 main areas, there are a lot of multiple cultures. Like, it's very interesting when you go from the north, when you visit the north and then you visit the south, you literally have a culture shock because it is so different. Including, sometimes it could be the language, the way that they speak, the way that they dress, the food, it is very different. And God blessed us in that way. So here is, I think that diverse, it's a great adjective to describe my country. We can find diversity in the ethnic groups. Most of them can be found in the mountains and in the jungle, but they have their own language. So the main language of Peru is Spanish, but they also speak Quechua and Aymara, which are the native languages. And from there, they have their different variations, and their own native languages. So there are around 40 native languages that are spoken in Peru. Well, going from that, they have their own religion. Because of the Inca Empire, they kept those beliefs that they thought that the sun was the god, and they respect all the animals because they are very important. They are part of the same god, and well, they kept that. But the main religion in Peru is Catholicism. One good thing is that the gospel is having a great impact in Peru, and that's really great. I think I'm very thankful for that. Then we had food. Okay, so for food, I would say almost every Peruvian is very proud of the Peruvian gastronomy. I do believe it's really good. We use a lot of spices, a lot of vegetables, carbs, and of course, meat. We use a lot of potatoes and rice. Those are the basics for our meals. But I'll show you some pictures and I'll just keep going. Okay, so we'll talk about animals. Because of the three main geographic areas, in each area has their own animal kingdom, I guess. For example, in the coast, because we're close to the Pacific Ocean, there are a lot of fish and birds. In the mountains, there have to be a lot of animals that can resist the weather because it can get really, really cold. So there are the llamas, the alpacas, the vicuñas, the guanacos. All of them are part of the same family. You can see the picture there. That's a vicuña. And their wool is very expensive. It could be more expensive than the wool of an alpaca. And it's very soft. Then, and in the jungle, because of the vegetation, there are multiple and weird animals. You can find bugs, you can find a lot of birds, monkeys, snakes, and really weird animals. So that's the jungle. About plants, there are around 25,000 different species of plants, and 30% of them are endemic, which means that only a certain type of plant can only grow in a certain area. So that means that 30% of those 25,000 can only be found in Peru. And of course, the sceneries, they're just breathtaking, they're beautiful. So I have some pictures about the ethnic culture, the ethnic groups, and the food. So this is an example of the ethnic groups. To the left, we have the Quechuas. They can be found in the mountains. And the Ashaninkas can be found in the jungle. Most of the ethnic groups can be found in the jungle. And this is because there are certain areas in the jungle that we are not allowed to live in because they're like national parks. And, well, mostly all the tribes live there. And the reason why we cannot go there is because they haven't seen or experienced certain types of disease that we're used to it. For example, the cold or the flu. They haven't experienced that, so their bodies aren't prepared for that. And if we go to those national parks and we have this disease, then if they catch it, then they might die. Now, the Quechuas, if you go to Cusco, to the south of Peru, you can find them walking around the city. They usually speak Quechua and Spanish, and sometimes a little bit of English. But if you go to Cusco, you can see them walking around with their llamas or with their alpacas. But you can take pictures, but just be careful because then you have to pay. So this is very interesting. Okay, food. So the picture on the left, the biggest picture, it's ceviche. And it's raw fish marinated with lime, with a little bit of salt and some spices, and then you let it cook, and then you serve it in a dish with corn, sweet potatoes, and lettuce. And it's really good because it's fresh fish, and if you get the chance to try it, then you should try it because it's really good. And it goes really well with chicha morada or Inca Cola, which are very popular. Those are drinks very popular in Peru. Then on the picture to the left, the bottom one, we have lomito saltado. It's a really good steak. You cut them, then you have to fry them with some spices. You put onions and tomatoes, and it's really good because the trick is when you do this with the pan, you have to set the pan on fire, and then when the fire goes away, the meat is cooked in a certain way that is juicy but still cooked. And then you serve it in a plate with French fries and rice, and the combination of those three, it's really good. Now, the picture that is on the right, but on the top, we have mazamorra morada. It's kind of like a pudding. It's purple, but it's made out of a purple corn. I don't know if you can see it, it's on the back, and it's really good. You can also make it a drink, which is chicha morada, and you can make it a dessert. This picture is a dessert. And it's very, 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 very popular in Peru. So if I haven't convinced you with the food, maybe I can convince you with the sceneries to go and visit Peru. If you like hot or warm weather, if you like going to the beach, you should go to the coast. It's really good. This is a picture of Playa Roja de Paracas, which would be like the red beach of Paracas. But if you're more into a cold weather and going hiking, you should go to the mountains. This is a picture of el Nevado de Huascarán. And if you're more interested in nature, animals, or just a tropical weather, a lot of rain, you have to go to the jungle. So this is Moyobamba. Well, this is my country in general, but I want to talk about a little bit of my hometown. I grew up in a city called Trujillo. This is a picture of the cathedral. It's located in downtown, in the main plaza. And here's a map of my state. The picture on the left, that's my state, and it's called La Libertad. And then Trujillo is to the right, which is the city there, and that's Trujillo. This is a picture of the main plaza. I don't know if you can notice the buildings on the back. They're very colorful, and they have a certain type of the style that the buildings are. It's very different from the normal style because this is from when the Spaniards came and conquered Peru. That's where their building style, and we just kept that. And if you walk through downtown, it's very colorful and it's very pretty. But if you want to take a closer look, here I have a picture of me, my sister, and some friends that they came to Peru to visit me this past summer. We had a blast. It was so much fun. And if you guys want to go, it's really fun. Well, yeah. So this is my city. And something that we're well known is La Marinera. La Marinera is a typical dance. In this dance, the purpose is to express flirting, how guys flirt with girls and girls flirt with guys. And the lady, she's usually wearing this big dress, and sometimes it's really colorful, and it's very, I think it's called flowy, I think. Well, it goes like from one side to the other side. And then the hair, it's always arranged with flowers, and it's always on a bun. And she's always wearing makeup, but she doesn't wear shoes. Now, the guy is called Chalan. He wears this suit, and or a poncho, and he's always wearing this big hat, and sometimes he has a handkerchief. Now, the typical dance is just like the two of them, they're dancing on the floor, and we have competitions once a year. But it's very pretty. The music it has a lot of rhythm. And then the other variation of La Marinera is with El Caballo de Paso, which the lady dances with a horse. And it's very pretty because you can see that the horse is actually dancing. Well, the chalan is controlling the horse, but it's very pretty. So this is the city where I grew up in. And, well, I just want to introduce you now to my family. So meet the Hurtados. This is my family. My dad was blessed to be surrounded by only women. And, well, he's happy. He's always happy. He has a wonderful heart. He's a pretty chill person, and he's very outgoing. He loves serving the Lord, as well as my mom, and she's next to him. And then, well, my oldest sister is on the other side. She's wearing a white blouse. She just got married in August, so we got one down, two more to go. And, well, then my younger sister, she's the one in the middle. She loves doing facial expressions, especially in pictures. She just turned 19, so she was the baby of the family, but now she's older. And then, well, that's me all the way on the back. This picture was taken last Christmas. I got the opportunity to visit my family and spend Christmas with them, and that was pretty fun. Something that our tradition from just my family is that we celebrate Christmas twice a year for two main reasons. The first one is because we don't know how many times I can go back to home and celebrate Christmas with them. So we do it in the middle of the year, and then another time in December, like the normal. And the other reason is because my parents, they love Christmas. They're always playing Christmas songs. My mom cooks Christmas meals, and it's really, really good. She prepares this amazing applesauce, and it's really hot, and I devour it. I do. But they don't buy gifts all the time. But it's okay. We still have a good time. So they love serving the Lord. Right now, my dad is helping a church in Trujillo, and the church has a Christian radio. It has a Christian school, and they have the project of having the first Christian university. So they're working on that, and hopefully the Lord will bless us soon. My mom helps him with the ladies' ministry, and sometimes she helps with kids' ministry. And my biggest sister, well, she got married. She used to work with kids, but she works at the Christian school. My sister, she has two hamsters. She bought them, but now their hamsters had babies, and she went from 2 to 11. And right now she's an English teacher in the Christian school there. So both of my sisters are working together, and that's really fun. Well, my parents always thought that learning languages was very, very important, especially English. They told me, you have to learn English. It's going to be very useful one day. They were right. But I started learning English since I was a kid. And, well, after that, I fell in love with the language, and I just love learning, at that time, English, but now languages in general. And, well, that kept going through middle school and high school. And then when I was on my senior year of high school, I always wanted to study abroad. especially come here and study in a college or a university in the United States. But I knew it was very difficult, especially expensive, and the only way for me to come here was through a scholarship. So I applied. Bible college gave me a nice scholarship, but I couldn't accept it at that time because I was still a baby and I didn't finish my high school. I didn't finish my senior year of high school. So, well, the scholarship was there. I was working on my documents, but, well, I was still underage. I graduated high school when I was 16 years old, which is normal in Peru. And then we go to university if you want. So after I finished high school, I went to a university and I studied translation and interpretation. It was a great experience, a great major, but I was still working on my scholarship. Things happened, and each semester that went by, my scholarship got lower and lower and lower until the time that I couldn't afford it anymore. So that opportunity was vanished. But that didn't discourage me. I still kept attending to my classes in the university. I still loved learning about translation and interpretation. So that was okay. I was fine with the plan. The Lord told me, well, you're not going this time. You're not going to this Bible college. So it's fine. I accepted it. But I still was looking for other opportunities for me to study abroad, even if it was for one semester. I was still looking for other options. And here's where I make a parenthesis and talk a little bit about my parents' ministry, because that's the connection that I have with Grace. They are part of Spanish World Ministries, and this ministry, they record evangelistic messages in Spanish, and they send it to different Latin American countries that speak Spanish, and they have their own missionaries in each country. So my parents are missionaries in Peru. And, well, the central office is located here in Winona Lake. And, well, Mr. Sandoval, he is the president. And he knew about me wanting to study abroad or come here to the United States. So he's talked to my parents, and he suggested, why don't you apply for Grace? Because his oldest son studied here, so it was a nice option, and that was the first time we heard about Grace. Then in 2015, in the fall, my parents came here, and they were visiting several churches because they wanted to share about the ministry in Peru. So that was the purpose of their trip. But then Mr. Sandoval thought, well, since you're already here, why don't you have a meeting with Dr. Caleb and see if there's an opportunity or something. So on their last day of their trip, my parents met with Dr. Caleb, and they talked, and then at the end, Dr. Caleb decided to give me a generous scholarship. So the next day, my parents went back to Peru. They told me the exciting news, and I immediately started my documents and applying for Grace College. And, well, I still finished that fall semester in my university, but the next thing I knew, I was on a plane coming to Winona Lake, Indiana, to study in Grace College. That was a really big change for me. One, because the seasons are the opposite. So in Peru, we were in the summer, and when I came here, it was winter. And, well, I came here in January 2016 to start my first year of college. It was very challenging. It wasn't easy at the beginning. Well, English is not my first language, so it was hard to have your whole education in English. I had struggles understanding the professors, homework, just taking tests were different. It took me more time because I needed to understand the question, and then when I was writing the answer, I needed to make sure that the professor could understand what I was saying. Also, culture shock. It was very different, but God is faithful. I know that He is, and He provided me, or He blessed me with a wonderful roommate. She helped me a lot. She helped me understanding the culture. She helped me with homework, understanding a lot of expressions. For example, how in the world am I supposed to know the shotgun? If you say shotgun, then you get to see it on the front seat of a car. I mean, shotgun. And it was just funny. The first time I heard it, I think we were going to the store with some friends, and they were just screaming, shotgun, 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 and they were fighting for the front seat, and I stayed on the back. And then, well, my roommate told me what it meant, and then I wanted to try it. So I was ready. I was getting ready, and the first thing that came out of my mouth was, I shot the gun. They understood me, so I got to sit on the front seat. So that was pretty cool. Well, my point is that Lottie, she was and she still is a big support in my life. Then something that I have clear in my mind is that God's plans aren't the same as mine. For example, He brought me from Peru to America, and from here, He took me to France. I would have never have seen this coming. And since I was a kid, I always wanted to travel the whole world, but I thought, well, when I have money or when I marry a rich person, but God gave me that opportunity, and it was such a blessing just learning about the culture, about the language. It was such a nice experience. But now, well, I am here. I'm ready to keep going, to keep studying, and I also not only have a passion for languages, but I also like music. So I enjoy playing my flute, and well, I had the opportunity to be part of wind ensemble, and I love every time we get together and practice. It's so nice, and well, now I am serving the Lord as a growth group leader in Alpha, yes, in Alpha 2 East, to be more specific. The environment there, the girls are just so nice. They, I just can learn. I learned a lot from them. They helped me growing in my spiritual life, and this is such a great year. And well, I don't know what God has for me. I don't know the plans. I am very excited I'm looking forward to the future. At the same time, I'm very scared. I am working on just like serving the Lord wherever He takes me. I am fine with it. I really want to serve Him. But at the same time, it's just scary. I'm very attached to my family. I just want to go to Peru. But I know that His plans usually, well, sometimes aren't the same as mine. And I'm learning to trust in the Lord. And well, He will lead me wherever He wants. And I'll be glad just to serve Him. So my name is Jaris Hurtdao. This was my origin story. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you. And, oh, thank you. Well, thank you. And I guess, well, you are dismissed. Thanks.